What's up, everybody? I'm Ryan Murphy, and welcome to the ReelTime channel with a very special guest, Mr. Bruce Thomas. Uh, Wonderful actor. Thank you for being here, Mr. Thomas.
Oh, thank you, Ryan. Thanks for having me. Thanks for thinking of me for this.
Well, Mr. Thomas has been a part of many wonderful productions. You might recognize him from his roles in Legally Blonde, even Army of Darkness, which I was surprised to learn. Kyle
Yeah.
XY, Hall Pass, voice roles in things like Green Lantern, Emerald Knights, Call of Duty. Uh, this is sort of a comic book themed, largely uh, channel. We want to talk about one of his most recognizable roles, and that is as the Dark Knight himself, Batman. And you might, if you remember this, if you're my age, definitely remember the OnStar Batman commercials from 2000 to 2002, and then the Birds of Prey television series from 2003, both of which Mr. Thomas played Batman in. So
Well, I,
yeah,
I
thoughts.
have to correct one thing. Birds of Prey is not me. Yeah, I know. I've tried to remove it from IMDb, but they're weirdos over there, and they don't listen to what even I have to say. So, I I've said it one other time on an interview, and I figured somebody would correct that by now, but they didn't. I don't know who
Wow.
that is, but I was credited with it quite a long time ago, and it kind of stuck. But yeah, it's not me, unfortunately. I wish it was, but it wasn't.
That's mind blowing because I've heard that for 20 years. I've never had anything. Yeah, that's crazy. And so the whole world has been convinced it's you.
Yeah.
There's another Batman out there. I did the math, and there's about 14 actors who have played Batman in live action. Now we have a 15th we got to find.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. That's weird.
That's crazy. All right. Well, I guess we'll have to email Brian Robbins or something.
Yeah,
Uh, about
exactly.
that, the show, old show, or Leia Calligridis, or one of the people involved in that show. So that eliminates some of my questions.
Oh,
Uh,
darn.
but well, like I was gonna start at the beginning anyway. So let's go back to the beginning. Of course, you've been a character actor while you were in Army of Darkness, which is amazing to me. I never knew that.
Yeah.
But how did you come across this role? What made the producers think this is Batman? This is our guy
From Army of Darkness or for Batman?
for Batman. Yeah.
Oh, for Batman. Okay. Well, it's kind of a funny story. I was just about to leave acting, to be honest with you. It was a time where I had two young kids. I had not worked in probably a year. And so I trained to be a car salesman here in Los Angeles. And and I bought my black pants and my white shirts, and I did the training. And it was a time period between Christmas and New Year's. And I got a casting call from my agents at the time, said, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm in town. I'm not away for the holidays. They said, good, go down. And if you're available, go take a look at this. They're looking for a new Batman. And I had a goatee at the time. It's the only facial hair I had. Now, if you think about Batman, it's the only part of his face that shows, that counts. Anyway, I was so kind of fed up with Hollywood and everything. I just kind of went, screw it. I'm leaving the goatee. I'm going to go talk to these people, whatever. I'm about to be a car salesman. I don't care. So I did. They called me back the first week in January. I never got started as a car salesman because they offered me Batman. I met Andrew Davis, who was the director. He was a big time film director. He directed The
Yeah.
Fugitive. And he cast me immediately, and we got started. And they pulled me back in, and I never left acting. So
Fantastic. And you gotten some great roles since then. But
yeah.
yeah. So let's actually look pulling up there's actually a whole Wikipedia page on the OnStar commercials. I guess when I was reading it, oh yeah, there it is, Andrew Davis. That flew past when I saw the name, that flew past me. I never even put two and two. Oh, that's Andrew Davis from The Fugitive. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, that was a really big deal. First of all, when I went to work, we worked for a whole week on the stage at Warner Brothers, exactly where they make the big Batman films. The whole production was top notch. DC Comics had to had to approve my casting, and it was a huge deal. Everybody on the crew, it was just like being on the movie. Everybody in the crew worked on these commercials. The same dressers that dressed, Clooney and Val Kilmer and Keaton were dressing me. It was just incredible.
Yeah, speaking of the suit, I think you've said in interviews before that it was sort of a hodgepodge. I was of Kilmer and Clooney. I was looking at I was watching the commercials prior to this, and then looking at bits of Kilmer and Clooney. It looks pretty much just like Clooney's repainted.
Well, it was
But
it was for as far as I know, it was Keaton's suit. It was the Keaton
oh,
version, because it
well,
had
it
the
definitely
yellow.
had nipples on it.
Yeah, did it? Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I was just watching the commercial just now, and I was like, oh, there's a nipple.
that's interesting. Didn't it, so Keaton's didn't have that? I wasn't that
No,
looking that close at the nipples.
that's the whole. If you're not aware of this, that's the whole like thing in the Batman fandom. This is like what Schumacher is notorious like that he
Oh,
put nipples on the suit. Like Schumacher said, and he is passed on now, so this is a little less funny. But Schumacher said at one point, I think that's going to be on my gravestone. I think when I go to my grave, they're going to put on it, here
it
lies
should
Joel
be.
Schumacher putting nipples on the Batman suit. It's become a hugely notorious thing. Like when Christian Bale was cast, they pulled a prank on him and put nipples on the suit, and he immediately knew that it was a joke. But
Uh,
yeah, I was watching, and your costume does look like Clooney's repainted because it does have nipples and everything on it. So
okay. Well, that makes sense because that was the closest time period to when he was doing
yeah.
it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I like that they had the Keaton yellow insignia. That was cool.
Yes. Mhm. Yeah. What do you have any idea what made Andrew Davis really find you appropriate for the role? Was it just the chin? Because you do got a great chin.
I never asked him. I don't know. I also have the lines as opposed to
Yeah.
dimples. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. No, I never asked him. Never heard anything about it.
Maybe someday I'll get to interview him and I'll
There
get
you
to talk
go.
about the things. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you talk about being on the Warner Brothers lot. You were also on the Batcave set in Long Beach, I believe,
correct.
which must have been really just, I mean, and it was Keaton's Batmobile, but it was on the Schumacher set
That's right.
because yeah. But just to be in the presence of all that, just to be in the bat suit and have the Batmobile right in front of you was there a moment where you're just like, good golly, like,
Oh yeah, I still do. I wish I could do it again.
yeah.
I'm amazed that I got to have that experience in my lifetime. It's just it's oh man. For me, I grew up with Adam West, so that's how old I am. And I used to come home from school and watch that sucker with my sister. Um, and to ever think when I was a kid that I was going to grow up and be an actual Batman, it just blew my mind. But yeah, being on the set was really cool. I got to stay in the Queen Mary ship that's right next to the stage where the air conditioning was used to keep the Batcave all in one piece. That's what they had to set it up down there because of the air conditioning. It was a huge space in the big hangar there.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I unfortunately I didn't get to drive the Batmobile. They wouldn't
Okay.
let me, but yeah, I got to witness them firing it up. I got to witness the flame coming out the back. It was just awesome. And
Did
of
you
course,
said
I did.
you said they wouldn't let you. Did you ever was that a conversation like, can I?
Well, I don't recall that conversation. I probably just assumed that they weren't going to let me. But yeah,
Yeah.
that sucker that car has a 444 GM engine in it. It's a huge, powerful engine. It really does work. It works as a superhero car.
Mhm. So being on, you got to see the set, you got to work with Andrew Davis, you got to be in the bat suit, at least be in the cockpit at one point of the Batman car. Another great aspect of these, I think, would be working with some of the actors. Now, I don't think you actually shared any screen time with Michael Goff because he was on the Batman
Correct.
screen.
There was talks about it, but at the time, unfortunately, he was feeling a little ill. He didn't want to leave London or England, wherever he was living. Yeah, so they got him on the big screen. That was a bummer when I found out we weren't going to actually be in the same room together, but they made it work, and I was proud of that. What an honor to even share a project with him.
Yeah, you had the same Batmobile as Keaton, you had the same Alfred as Keaton, and all those
Yeah,
guys. Yeah, what a thing.
yeah,
Uh, and but you did, I think, get to work with Brian Stepanek as the Riddler,
yes,
and yeah, and
yeah.
Curtis
Brian and I
Armstrong as the
are
Joker.
still friends to this day. He's a terrific actor, performer, anyway, and a
Yeah.
wonderful guy.
Yeah, I was wanting to see if I could get him on the show. He's one of those guys that just shows up in thing after thing, and a lot of people don't put the things together. Did you get to work with the Joker actor too? Because
It was
it's
Curtis
kind of like
Armstrong. Curtis
yeah,
Armstrong played the Joker. People know him. He's still working, but people knew him back then as a booger from
yes,
what were those movies?
Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds. That's right. Um, yeah, and he was terrific. He was great as the Joker, man. We unfortunately we didn't really work face to face either. Just given the nature of what the story being told, he had his own car and I had my car, and so we sort of just passed each other on the stage and talked, briefly, but
Yeah.
it's
And the
great.
same thing I would think would go for the Penguin because I don't even know how a lot of that probably happened without you because it was a lot of Batmobile. They're just shooting you in the Batmobile
Yeah, it was
and
all
then
shot
shooting.
separately. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but
I know. I know that, but again, that's the way the movies are done too. They're just done in bits and pieces and fits and starts, and you're up,
yeah,
leave it all up to the editors to put a crazy, entertaining piece together.
yeah. But they're very entertaining. If anyone has any time, has 4 minutes of their life to spare. There's six commercials that you did. How long did you say it took you to film all six?
Well, we did a couple weeks once every year for 3 years. Did we? I think we did nine. I don't know. I don't know where the other ones are. Excuse me. We did some with Brooke Burns as Vicky Vale too.
Yeah.
Those were great. Um, yeah. So like once a year for a 2 week period, off and on. They did for a commercial, for a series of commercials. That was a huge chunk of time and huge chunk of money spent.
Mm. Well, that's really interesting because you're saying that so the commercials first started airing in 2000 and
Yeah.
they only ended in early 2002, so about a year. But you're saying that you actually filmed for several years before
Well,
are you, what was the year? Can you tell me the year that you
I
started?
don't remember,
Okay.
honestly. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I thought it was 3 years we did
Yeah.
spots. Maybe it was just two. I don't know. It's 20 years ago, so it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
know.
So, I mean, my next questions were going to be about the Birds of Prey series,
Oh
but
man.
yeah, but no, like as being Batman, of course, you've gone on to like being Kyle XY and Legally Blonde, and it's interesting. Even like your cameo page doesn't really have, it doesn't say Batman on it, and but
Well, you
do
know what?
people?
Yeah, and I guess it's my fault. I guess it's I never really gave them as much credence as fans do. But since it's a
Mhm.
cameo page, I should put it on there, and I'll probably do that as soon as we're off here, um, because I do get, some people do reference that on social media, and I just I don't know. I never gave it much weight to put it on there.
So you've probably never been to conventions or anything like that,
I
or
have. Yeah,
oh, you
I
have?
do go to conventions, and Batman doesn't come up a whole lot. I usually, all my video game characters and animation characters are what
Oh, okay.
I focus on.
Yeah, there you go. Hmm.
But I'll have to add that I'm going to Kansas City to PlanetCon the 17th. So
Yeah, just be
I'll have
like,
to,
I'm Batman.
I'll have to remind people. Yeah.
See if you that'd be amazing. Yeah, so but it's been a heck of a journey since then. Like I said, some great roles, and we're really glad you came on the show today and we're able to talk about this. So yeah,
Thanks so
thank you very
much,
much.
man. Yeah.
What did you think of the interview with Bruce Thomas, guys? Let us know your comments below and as thank you for being here as well. We're glad to have you, and we got some exciting things coming from Antar Productions. So thank you very much. I'm Ryan Murphy. Take care of yourselves.